back because I just didn't feel right about it. And in some time span, the disease progressed. And by the time I actually got a diagnosis that was correct, I went to get a biopsy from a skin doctor, dermatologist, and they actually took some tissue out of my skin, and that's when he actually said it was sarcoidosis. And it was foreign to me. I never heard of it. And I wasn't scared, but then I was just wondering, what is this? So I did my research, and, from a medical standpoint, my doctor said, don't go to the library and look up the symptoms or the side effects of this drug I'm going to give you, which was prednisone. Prednisone is a very, very, very dangerous steroid. And it just made me gain about 50 pounds in a couple of weeks, it seemed like, and I was very skinny, and I just blew up. Aside from that, it had about a whole paragraph of side effects. And around that time, God lined me up with someone who was an herbalist. And ironically, this herbalist is a man that I hear a lot of men talking about had prostate cancer. He had overcome that. He had prostate cancer, I think, in his 40s. And when I met him, he was probably about 60-something. He never went back to his doctor. He learned how to take care of his diet and change things. And he started using herbs and formulating herbs. And he was healed. And I learned from him. He said, the best thing you can do right now is get off that medication. I think I did it 2 months. And I wasn't sure, but I said, okay. So I did. And then he told me what to do. And basically what I learned from him was the diseases that we know about, they put different names on them. Cancer, sarcoidosis, lupus, diabetes, they all have different names to identify what area, or just for the doctors to know exactly where to go, where to look. But they don't really tell you the cause. And this is what we're missing in medical science. So I guess I'm just the type of person, I just want to know, I just go to libraries and research everything. So after he told me, get off the medication, you need to start taking herbs. You need to start cleaning your colon out. You need to start eating healthy. And I think it was more natural to me to eat healthy because I grew up on the regular diet. My father was from Mississippi. I grew up on regular food like everybody else. But unfortunately, those type of diets are not meant for us. We're not meant to eat that stuff. And we've been doing this generation on top of generation on top of generation. And like I said, I know you guys might not like it, but I'm just going to tell you the truth. That's it, but you're going to have to decide what to do. I know that we're in the last days in this world. We don't really have a whole lot of time left, but in God's mercy and grace, we're still here because really all of us should have been gone just from diet alone. Just from diet alone, we shouldn't be here. Generations on back, we should have been gone from diet alone. We ain't talking about drugs, cigarettes, alcohol, none of that stuff. It amazes me how people can still keep going after they consume so much drugs and alcohol. It's just God's mercy and grace. God loves everybody, even the worst of the worst that we think is worst. God loves them too. So he's trying to keep us here, to bring as many into his kingdom. Because after all, he created us. He created everybody, even the worst murderer. He wants everybody to repent. He wants everybody. He died for everybody. So we can't judge anybody. So in the meantime, God is bringing us all together in whatever way he can. So what we need to do is realize that God has given us some guidelines in his word. From the beginning, as you do know, in Genesis, he gave us a diet to eat, how he created us. And it starts in Genesis. If you ever get a chance, you can look at Genesis and read the diet pretty much. It's just a diet of fruits and vegetables and plants and things that he created for us to eat and consume. Well, we have deviated from that completely. And because we've done that for generation on top of generation, it's accumulation in our system. It's accumulation in our cells and our tissues and our organs. And where's all that stuff going? Where is it going? We haven't done anything with it. It doesn't just come out like you think. And I might sound a little gross, but just bear with me. Everybody in this country, like 98% of people are actually constipated. And the 2% who are not are little babies before they start consuming dairy products. If you ever realize or notice that a little baby or even a dog, after they eat a meal, they have to have a movement. They have to go to the bathroom. That's a natural progress. That's what everybody should be doing. And we don't do that. That's where the problem starts. So you can just kind of add up all the food you've eaten over all these years, it's going. Because, see, when you eat the food, your body's supposed to break it down, send the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients to the tissue cells and organs to keep it going, to make it work, because you're regenerating tissue cells and organs all the time. You get new blood, you get new cells, you get new bones, based upon what you're putting in there. So you might like pork chops, but you're going to have pork chop bones. You're going to have pork chop cells. You know, your heart's overloaded. I know, Jeremiah, but I'm going to be in your face because I want you to be around, because I know God has some things for you to do. Amen. And it's however long it takes. You know, you're just going to have to hear about it from me. But what I'm saying is that stuff has to go somewhere. It's been sitting in that colon. And see, the colon is the key, really, to our health. We have really ignored that because nobody really wants to deal with that. I'm like, wow, God, you gave me this to do. But I have to talk about it because it's the truth. And I know that's where I started with my healing. Once I started cleansing my colon out and taking herbal herbs and nutrients through my colon and flushing that out continuously, that's when my health turned around. I wasn't even on any medication. And remember, the disease that I was diagnosed with, there is no known cure for it. There still isn't. If you look at the dictionary, there is no known cure. That means the doctors don't know what to do when they say that. They have to research it because doctors don't deal with cures. They don't even deal with, they do deal with symptoms, but they don't deal with the cause. You have to find out what's causing something. So I found out that when that started coming out of me, I started feeling better. Symptoms started going away. So that was the key right there. God was showing me something. You know, I didn't understand why I was going through that. Like, God is showing me something. He's teaching me this. So I just ran with it. I just got every book I could find and started reading, researching, going to classes. I met this herbalist. I started sitting under him and learning how does Mary come from prostate cancer. I learned all those things in my 20s, and I'm 48. I have never been back to a doctor like that ever. I didn't tell you to a doctor. And I'm here, like you're here. Thank God that you're here. However you're here, because God is still keeping you here. Because I know everybody's not going to do everything right away. You know, we're taking baby steps, but I admonish you to speed it up. Because really, you don't want to be put on drugs. You don't want to be stuck on drugs. And everybody in here really, with all due respect, is a drug addict, whether it's an aspirin, cough medicine, and all that. It's all the same. I don't care if it's prescribed or not. It's a drug. Look it up in the dictionary. Look up a medical dictionary what you're taking, and you really need to know what you're taking and the side effects. Right. It's accumulation. So you got all that medication, you got all that food you're eating. What's happening to it? Right. Okay. So you probably saying, I go to the bathroom. I'm not constipated. Okay. If you're not constipated, there are 5 things you can do to see if you're not constipated. The colon is about 2.5 inches round. And when you're eliminating, you're supposed to eliminate 2 inches round elimination. Your waste coming out, it should be coming out 2 inches round. It should float, not sink to the bottom. You should eliminate about half an hour after any meal, all the time. So, you know what I'm saying? Are we doing that? No, I don't think so. Most people don't, because we're all, like I said, we're all constipated to some degree. So therefore, the waste accumulating is not coming off the walls of the colon. That's a breeding ground for disease. And it doesn't matter what name you put on it. Breast cancer, prostate cancer, diabetes, wherever that disease, those toxins and all that waste accumulation is building up. All your body is trying to do is heal. It's trying to keep you alive. So what your body is doing with all that waste, because it can't get out to the colon, it can't flush itself out, it won't let it, you're just packing more stuff in, it'll go here, it'll go there, it'll go here, it'll go brain, wherever the area is, that it can settle there, and it'll wrap itself up, that waste, those parasites, all that germs and bacteria, all that gross stuff, it wraps it up in a ball of mucus, and it becomes hard. Then you got arthritis, then you got gout, then you got cancer, then you got this, that, all that. It's all the same. It's waste in the body. You can prove that out yourself. As soon as you start detoxing and cleansing, you start feeling better. Why? Because you're releasing the waste. And if you can release enough waste out your body, all those problems are going to disappear. These are diseases that we're creating ourselves. These are diseases that you cause from somebody. These are diseases that you're responsible for, every person. And you're responsible, if you have kids, you're responsible for them. You have to allow them to know. The reason why I wrote this book, The President Eats Vegetables, is because the kids are in so much trouble. Pray for the kids. Pray for the kids, Lord. They have so much in the generation against them. I mean, I can't even begin to start with. Certainly in the diet area. All they're receiving is what we give them. There you go. Thank you. And that's the truth. Lined up every morning. They're in the car. They didn't got the car by the time. Going to school. Now, Michelle Obama, thank God that she started getting people aware the kids need to eat healthy. That's the start. Anti-obesity program. But, it's not her responsibility. It's our responsibility for your own kids. We know, especially in the church. We know. We've heard it before. It's nothing new. I'm really telling you. You've heard it before. I know you have. I know you've been around long enough to know. We're not eating right. I know the challenge is what everybody is. That's what we grew up on. I love that flavor. I can't give up my chicken, my fries, my this, my that. But you know what? If you really had to, I think you would. I really think. I think right now, because a lot of people have experienced a really terrible illness and serious pain, I think that's what it is. But you don't want to get to that point. You don't want to get to that point. I've been in extreme pain where if you just touch me like that, I would just start crying. When I had sarcoidosis in my 20s, and nobody in my family ever heard of that. Nobody in my family had that. Nobody ever has been sick like that. But it's a reason and purpose behind everything. And I believe that God knew that I would be able to go and talk to people, to help people, and share my experience. So I'm grateful for that experience. I'm grateful that I learned so much through it, and that I'm able to help other people with it. But I have to say that, this is serious business. I know today you're going to go home and probably eat stuff that, I'm talking about you shouldn't eat. But it's not so much even just the food. Like I said, we're talking about the cold. We're talking about flushing it out. At the very least, if you're going to eat that stuff, you're going to have to make some adjustments. I'm a vegetarian. I've been a vegetarian for about as long as 25, 30 years almost. I never missed meat. I'm probably one of those people, probably would have been a natural vegetarian anyway. Some people are hard. They got to have meat. And I never tell people you have to be a vegetarian. I never say that. I mean, that's between you and God, yourself. Nobody ever told me I had to be a vegetarian. I chose it for myself. When I went to see my holistic doctor, he suggested you get off the chicken and the dairy products because he knew that I was having some problems. And most female problems are directly coming from dairy products and meat. Every time you're getting cramps, PMS, menopause, all that stuff, it's all the same stuff. All the consumption of what we have eaten. And we had a good time eating it. But you're going to have a bad time suffering. Worst time.
Amen.
You're going to have a worse time. And I'm telling you right now, the medicine they have, these drugs they have, they're not working anymore. They can't even use the same cold remedies anymore because all these viruses have mutated. They have mutated over the years. I've watched them. I used to work in stores. People come in, oh, my doctor gave me this antibiotic. It's not working. It's not working no more. That stuff is not working. And so you're leaving your health in the hands of somebody who is experimenting on you. Because that's not working. You know they're trying to make something that works with it. Pills are big business. Bottom line, pills are big business. Big business. So much that they try to shut people like me and my mentor down. They don't want people to buy herbs. They don't want people to have vitamins. They don't want people to eat healthy so much, And that's our right. It's our God-given right. It's our God-given right. So we got them on that one. We can show up in the Bible and this is our God-given right. You can't take that away. But it's a fight. It's been a fight. Because it's all about money. So, in Hosea, God says, most people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Right. So we cannot allow lack of knowledge to destroy us. Right. We know better. A lot of people have left this earth, just talking about in the church, loving God and God loving them. They just left here so soon, too soon. And it could have been avoided. Multitudes and multitudes and multitudes from all the diseases that I'm talking about. They are preventable. They were preventable. I don't know if you guys remember Bernie Mac, the comedian. He was one of the greatest comedians, just a natural comedian. And he died in his 50s. He died of complications of pneumonia. years, he revealed that he had sarcoidosis. And I just found that out on the website. What? Oh my gosh. He had sarcoidosis, complication of pneumonia. I know the whole pattern because they start giving you medication. And then that creates more problems because it's just mucus, waste. It's overdone. It's not going anywhere. And you're smoking and drinking, you're creating problems. So you're creating disease in your own body. You are responsible. And I know a lot of people have a hard time with this, but just pray about it and let God talk to you because it is the truth. And I'm a person that's going to bring in truth whether people want to hear it or not. I've done my job, I feel like. So what we need to do for prevention of any kind of cancer, as I told you before, waves can go in any part of your body. We already know about high blood pressure, and even just that alone, we know